Hi, and welcome to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, the Sands of Time. My name is Lisa Strauss Lawrence, and I'm a bereavement specialist. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you today, and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you as well, Lisa. Thank you very much. I'm Susan Capurso, End of Life Doula and Legacy Specialist. And today we're doing something a little unique. So usually we talk from the perspective of the person who's had a loss recently or facing a loss. But today we're going to show ways actually to help and support a friend or someone, a family member, in times that they're struggling with their grief and their loss. And these times for them can be very challenging because often friends, as we've both experienced, Lisa and I, friends, we've had videos on them, and friends don't know the right things to say, and they don't know how to approach you. So today's perspective is being that friend and how you can um, meet your friend where they are, okay, on their timeline, and how to have a little empathy about that, and some of the things that you can say or do, and practical tips. They're just practical things, but we're kind of trying to put it into a little perspective for you in case you've never traveled the road and have lost, significant others in your life.
And
So let's
perfect
get
today,
started.
perfect today for
Yeah,
Valentine's Day. It truly shows the love that you have for somebody and the caring and support. So it's a really great topic today.
yeah, I thought so, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So really checking in on them. We talk a lot about that, right?
Yeah,
How
I want to
important that
start
is.
by saying the worst
Yeah.
thing you could do. Let's talk about the worst thing you could do because it certainly has happened to me and may have happened to you. They say, I don't know what to say, so I'm just not going to call. I'm just not going to say anything because it's better. I don't know what to say. Maybe I'll say the wrong thing. So now
Right.
I don't hear from somebody, or somebody calls me and says, I don't know what to say. It's a problem because the more that happens, the worse it is. The more you feel that nobody cares.
Yeah. And relationships do end,
Yes.
because of this. So be very conscious and be aware and be mindful of that fact. And part of it is checking in. And maybe I think I think you're going to feel that, well, I'm the one that always has to call, and I'm the one always checking in. And maybe you are for a while. Maybe you are. So if you're a friend and you love your friend or this person in your life who's grieving, um, take that high road, play that role, and know that, hey, some of the responsibility will be on me for a while because they don't know how to pick up the phone and call anymore, and their world is scattered right now.
Their world is, can I wake up in the
Scattered, that's
morning
what I meant.
and get through the day? That's their world.
Yeah, it's not picking up the phone like they used to and calling just to chat and how's the weather and, oh, good, you're on your way to work. It's not like that anymore because their world, that was the word I was looking for, shattered. It is shattered in their eyes, and they can't reach out. They can't, not because they're being rude or don't want to. They can't physically or mentally make the move
Yeah. Yeah.
to reach out to you.
And so this is very important. Do not take it personally. Do not think that they don't love you anymore. They don't care about you anymore, whatever. It has nothing to do with their current state. So we all
Yeah.
have to and many of us have not been in that state, whereas you and I have. So we get it and we understand. But others who have not experienced loss and don't know about the grieving process can really take this personally. Well, they don't respond, or they don't answer my voicemails, or they don't call back. No, no, it's not about you
No,
at all.
they can't mentally or physically do it. Like we
Right.
just said, it's just too hard. and they don't want to take part in the world. They don't want to be, when you're grieving that badly, you don't want to be a part of the world. Why am I still here? You know, it's tremendous. It's a tremendous, overwhelming feeling in your body and your mind. And if you, again, haven't experienced loss, you really don't know the depth of that feeling. So you may have to carry the relationship, carry the friendship or the relationship, whoever it's with, carry it through for a while. Know that you're going to step up, and it may be a year, it may be two. Okay. Sometimes it's a little longer, but just know that, wow, you're a champion here. You're holding the friendship together because it's that important to you. So be that person.
Yeah.
So checking in on them is big. If it's not if you used to talk 3 times a day, even if it's once a day, check in once a day so they know somebody cares and is out there thinking of them.
I'll tell you the worst question to ask. How are you doing? I always liked, I was thinking about you. Okay. Because how you doing was really difficult for me
Right.
personally to even
Yeah.
say to
In my
somebody.
head, as the person who suffered the loss, I'll be thinking, what do you mean? How do you think I'm
I think
doing?
I'm
How
feeling
do you think?
right, right, right,
So it's more annoying than anything.
right.
Um, it's really, it's difficult if you haven't experienced it. So understanding the grief process a little bit is just like what you're doing now. You're listening in because you saw the title of this cover, and you may know somebody who's grieving and dealing with a loss. Picking up a book. uh, you're on the internet, so you're savvy, right? There's so many websites, and just look at a few of them. Get an idea, at least, on how your friend's feeling and what they're going through, so you can respond appropriately. It's easy to say the wrong things. It's challenging to say the right things. And sometimes you don't even need to say the right thing. Listening,
Yes,
listen more, talk less.
yes,
That's key.
yes, it is. It is. Just show that you care, that you're there. I don't know about you, but after my husband's death, I got a lot of food. People were coming with casseroles and with a lot of food because that was their way of showing me that they cared about me and didn't want me to go hungry.
That's what it is. They're
Yeah.
they're understanding. The people that bring the food and carry the food have been through the process, I'm sure, and understand that when you're feeling that torn down, you don't want to cook for yourself. You don't want to do
No,
that either.
I have to tell you, many of them have not. And these are friends who had not lost husbands or anything, but they
Mhm.
thought this would be a nourishing thing for me. I could put it in the freezer and I wouldn't
Yeah,
have to worry about cooking, which I thought
yeah,
was a really sweet. And they did that for a long time, weeks,
yeah,
where food would just come
yeah.
pouring in.
Yeah, so nice and sweet. So
Yeah.
there are many thoughtful things you can do, but don't forget the power of listening. And if you're not a person who listens well, and you're more chatty Cathy and you're the talker, then really pay attention to this. You know, uh, just listening is powerful. And it might be quiet for some time. It might be quiet. Maybe they don't want to chat either and they don't want to talk. So know that, the silence within the relationship, trust in that, because even your presence is powerful. It's powerful. When my friend got in the car and drove, 50 miles, 100 miles just to be with me for the weekend, that was powerful.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't have to do anything, but she was just around and I wasn't alone,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Very, very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
And let them express their feelings, whether they're angry, whether they cry a lot. At the very beginning, you cry a lot. I want to say in the first year, you cry a lot. That starts to subside a little after a year or two when things start to feel a little lighter, but you have to let them cry,
Yeah.
right?
I think people are always afraid of tears and all, and they
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen and all. People need
Yeah.
to accept that that's all part of loving somebody,
Yeah.
and crying and losing them. And those tears, as that rabbi said, are demonstrate the real affection that you had for somebody.
Right.
That's loss. That's love and loss. So don't worry if you're the friend that the person is a wreck and they're falling
They have to
apart and
be.
they'll never be back together again. It's scary for people because they don't know, they don't understand what's going on,
They're
and they're
not in their
worried.
shoes. They're not in their shoes, and
Right.
it is hard to understand. I was blessed that before the 14 people in my life left the earth, I was fortunate to never have suffered a loss
Wow.
before that,
Wow.
except for a grandmother.
Wow.
But I was young, so I didn't really understand the depth of it. You can't unless you've really been hit hard. So the emotions can be all over the place. It could be crying, it could be angry one minute,
Hmm.
fear
Hmm.
that you're alone or isolated in the world and by yourself. That's a big one.
It is. It
Whatever the
is.
emotions, whatever the conversation, you know, go with it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Go with the
Absolutely.
flow,
Absolutely. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And, ask questions. Ask questions because, again, that grieving person doesn't always know what they're thinking or feeling. But you can be gentle in asking them the right questions, asking them. Don't be afraid, to be open and loving and share your thoughts and concerns because they need guidance and they need your support and you're holding their hand in a way, even if you're physically not holding their
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
Have you taken a shower today? Why don't you go in and take a shower and I'll make us a cup of tea? You know, um, all kinds of questions. When have you eaten today? Because self-care for a person grieving too, that goes on the back burner,
Yeah. Sure it does. Sure it
right?
does. Yes. Yes.
You don't
Absolutely.
wake up caring about how you look and your makeup and doing your hair
Yeah.
that day, or nothing matters.
Nothing is important.
Nothing matters,
Nothing's important. Nope. No.
right?
Nothing. Yes. Yes.
Also, another thing is, you can offer practical help, you know, easy, simple little things, running to the store. Let me just pick up a few things. Let me just run and get milk and bread. And then maybe if you're at the store, if you can afford to do it, pick up a few things that maybe you could stick in the freezer and some fruits and vegetables or just things to have in there, some frozen things or something that will make it easier.
Yeah.
You can always, that's something you can do. You can help clean up the house a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a friend who hasn't been feeling well lately. She has an illness that she's suffering with. And I got to tell you, it didn't even cross my mind. But when she said that another friend of hers had come by the house and cleaned her whole den where she sits, and I vacuumed the crevices and used the piece of the vacuum that you get behind everything in the radiator and just took control and do that, nothing at this time means more to her than that. And I'm a good friend. Did I think of going there and doing that for her? I
Yeah.
didn't think of it,
Yeah.
so know how big it is for somebody. She's going through a struggle just like a grieving person's going through their own challenge and struggle. But little things like that, take the Windex when you go into the bathroom, okay? And just 5 minutes it'll take. But doing little things like that, um, cooking, while you're there spending time. Well, let's put on a pot of chili or a pot of soup and doing it for them and then putting it in individual containers or doing it at home and picking up the 20 pack of individual containers and filling them up all with soup or chili and just bringing a package to their house. All of these things are ways of showing
Huge.
that you care. Throw in
Yeah.
a load of laundry, right?
Yes.
Little practical things that are helpful.
Yes. Well, life becomes very overwhelming.
Mhm.
So day to day, you're absolutely right. All those things are just so helpful and so loving with somebody
Yeah.
and caring.
And we talk about this in videos as well. Things change, friendships change, relationships change with other people. And we want you today, the other people, to know that they don't have to change. They don't have to change if you can pick up the bearing load for a little while and be that presence and not get frustrated about it. Know that it could be for the next year or two,
They
where
need to
I'm being the
understand.
friend.
I think they need to understand that the person themselves feel that they've changed because of their situation in life circumstance. They don't feel like the same person they were before, and they're going to go through their own transformation. If you were two people before, now you're a single person. If you lost a parent, now I mean, there's even books about feeling like you're the like orphan child. I mean, there's a lot of things. So that person will feel different, and you may have to be very flexible on how you see them now, because they see themselves very differently, and they may act differently, and they may say different things, and you're going to have to really be very understanding of that. It's hard. It's really hard.
Oh, it's not easy. It's not easy because you may get to a point where you want to give up on the
Yeah,
friendship,
yeah, yeah. You'll
and
stop
think that,
calling. You'll
okay,
stop.
it's
Yeah.
been enough time now, and they're being selfish. They're
Right,
being
right,
selfish.
right. Aren't
They
you
have
over
to
this
snap
already?
out of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's just not the way it's going to be.
But you can show the true test of any relationship or
Yeah,
friendship,
yeah,
by pulling them through. And that's what love is, right? That's what relationships are all about. When you can be there no matter what, even if it's not as fun and fulfilling for you at the moment, take them from point A to point B in the time period that they need you to be there. So their timeline might not be a quick one, so helping them out for 6 months and then, that's not the true test of a friendship or a relationship. Wherever they are, however long it takes, you can do it. You can be there for them, and you're going to get fulfillment and joy and laughter in maybe some of your other relationships right now. But this one, treat with kid gloves, and be gentle.
yeah.
Be gentle, show the gentle side of yourself and caring and giving, and do what's necessary, right? Do what's necessary. Try not to forget some of their important dates either. It's been now 8 years since my husband passed, and his birthday was recently. And somebody sent me a text that I haven't talked to in some time, with just a red heart.
Ah,
That's it. Never didn't say anything else in the text message
wow.
itself. And I knew that they knew, and it was just, oh my God, it warmed my soul. And I was so appreciative of that red heart,
Nice,
in the morning. So it's
nice.
just things that you could do like that, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the dates are important. We know dates are important to Lisa. If you've watched any of our other videos,
Yes,
dates are very important to Lisa.
they are.
Um, but to the person who's lost, by remembering, it's nice, it's helpful.
Or by trying to help them celebrate in whatever way they can. So, you don't just pretend the date didn't exist. It still was their anniversary, or it still was their birthday, or it still was, whatever other thing. You know, for me, it was Father's Day, only a week after my father died, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, something like that. And I didn't want Father's Day to just go by because I didn't have a father anymore, you know?
Yeah. And I just had a thought too. So say it was their birthday or it was their anniversary, okay? And you talked to them earlier in the day and you know that they're staying home tonight
Yeah,
and doing nothing. Make sure the circumstance is right with them, but then surprise them.
Mhm.
Maybe pick up some takeout or bring a couple cupcakes, you know, with a candle and just surprise them and walk in and say, I came because it's your anniversary today and we should still celebrate that together. You know, that is going to lift somebody up from, they might have been in a really dark place that night, but because you stepped in, it's a beautiful thing,
Yes,
right?
yes, agreed. Yeah, yeah.
So what else? I mean, can you think of
I,
anything else that we're leaving out?
I think sometimes you have to take the lead, and you might say to somebody, I'm coming over and I'd like to just go for a walk with you. Just take you, yeah, take you out of the house, and you may have to do something like that, which may not be characteristic for you or for them. Or it
Right,
might be, let's go for a drive. And the person says, no, I don't really feel like it. And you say, you know what? Just let's give it a try, just, half an hour or something. You'd
right.
be surprised that just that
Because,
little urge, because in the beginning, that person just doesn't want to do anything. And just that little nudge to get
yeah,
out is huge, huge, because it's a
yeah,
scary world now. Everything is
yeah.
different for that person. And so that,
What you just said though was key. Okay, that it might feel uncomfortable. It even if it's a ride, right? It
yeah,
might be outside of your box and their box and something that you have never both done regularly before. But remember, that's a good thing because if it's outside of your box, right? You got to remember that things are changing.
yeah,
Don't let it change between you, but it's
mhm,
changing in their world. So they're seeing so many changes right now,
yeah,
you know, with the different things that they do or just act on a day-to-day basis or not having the person on the other end of the phone that they used to call 15 times a day. You know, that their world is changing. So by you implementing a few positive changes into the mix, it helps soothe and ease the negative changes that they're going through,
it
I
does.
think,
It does. It
right?
does. Does. I really got to see who my true friends were, I have to say. Um, you have acquaintances, you have friends, and then you have your really true friends. And I got to see the ones who just, this did it. This was,
It solidifies your friendship,
yeah. Or
you know?
the other ones, it just wasn't strong enough to really get through. They just weren't there for me, or they couldn't cope with that grieving situation, or it frightened them because it might happen to their spouses or their parents or whatever else.
Yeah.
Um,
You
and they
know,
couldn't cope with it.
another good video, if you did click on this video, another good video we did is about how the seasons change and the friendships change. And it
Yeah,
was about friendships.
yeah.
So it might be worth to go back and look at that, listen to that one. And then, you know, you are listening to this one. So they kind of connect, but we talked about friendships from the perspective of, you know, if you're the grieving person and how the friendships are going to change. So that's why we wanted to do this video today to tell the healthy and vibrant person that, hey, you know, they're sinking,
Yeah, yeah,
they're in quicksand,
they are.
so to speak.
Yep, that's right. That's a really good analogy. It
It so
really
is.
does feel like that. You just can't get out. You just keep
It
trying
so
to
is.
climb, and it's a dark hole. It really
I
is.
felt the quicksand, but you know what I felt even, I don't know why. I just kept imagining this big tool, like a crane, some kind of big piece of machinery that was just trying to push me down,
Mm,
that weighed so heavy on my shoulders, and it was pushing me down, down, down. I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of this feeling and escape it. I don't know if that fog that surrounds every minute of my day is ever going to go away
yeah.
because
Mine
you
was a
don't know that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mine was a cloud. I felt like a dark cloud was sitting up over me. The rest of the world was doing their thing and sunlight was elsewhere, but this dark cloud just sat over me, just sat over me. Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's important for us to tell you that, and I hope a lot of people listen to this video because we don't know, or you don't know. Many people don't know what that feeling of grief is. So if you know that this person is suffering the cloud, the crane, the quicksand, if you know it, we're telling you beyond a shadow of a doubt, if they love this person, if they had a connection, a relationship, even if they only saw them once every 4, 6 months, every year because they live in another state, these are the feelings that they're suffering.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it can get worse and worse and feel worse and worse for a really, really long time for some people.
And I think you can
Some
also,
people adjust a little bit more
that's
quickly,
right.
right?
That's right. And you can misinterpret people's, either lack of expression or lack of conversation or lack of anything back. It's just not a two-way street for a while. It's just
It's
not.
not a two-way street, right? So don't expect that.
Yeah.
Don't expect it, say, hey, now it's time for me to carry you. I carry around in my pocketbook the Footprints poem. You know it, Lisa,
I
right?
love that. Yeah,
So
I
I've
love that.
carried that with me since I want to say about 14 years old.
Wow.
Maybe it was earlier. Between 12 and 14. Somehow I stumbled across that.
Wow.
And it's the same thing, in that poem. uh it says, you didn't the person asks God, how come I only saw one set of footprints if you walked by my side this whole time? And I want to cry.
Yeah.
And then he says, stop, Lisa, let's see your eyebrows. And then he says, because those were the times that I carried you.
Yeah.
That I carried you. So if you don't know it, look it up and find it and read it, because really, yes, God is there for all of us and carrying us through our hard times, but really, you're the friend that needs to carry them through this time.
That's right. That's right.
You can be the one,
You
right?
can.
You
You
can,
can. You
if
can.
you choose to.
That's right. That's right. It's a good test of that relationship that you have with that person, how you really feel about them.
That's right.
Not everybody can do this. Not everybody is a true friend. And I'm not telling people to do something that they can't do. I think that they
Not
need to
everybody
understand.
can.
That's right.
Not
That's
everybody
right.
can withstand the test of time
That's right.
and run out of things to say and feel, the relationship's gotten stale and I
Yeah.
can't go on anymore. And she's in her own world or he's in his own world and there's nothing more that I can do. If that's the choice you're making, then the
Yeah.
relationship to me wasn't as valuable
Yeah.
as you
Strong.
thought
It
it
wasn't as
was, or they
strong.
thought it was.
It wasn't as strong
As
as you
strong,
would
that's a
thought.
better word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a better word than valuable.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it
Because
happens.
the strength lies in a relationship as you do go through ups and downs and challenges and everything. That really is the true measure of the love that you have for somebody in all respects. Yes, you're friends, but everybody.
Just like a good marriage, though. We've seen bad marriages, middle of the road marriages, really good marriages with really good partners that no matter what, you're having a cranky day,
Mhm.
you have a tantrum, you argue, but no matter what, you both know it doesn't matter. We'll
That's
get
right.
through this and we work on it together. It's just like that. It's with every relationship that we have, whether it be a friend, a family member, a sibling, a parent, no matter what the loss is, it was unique to them. Now, maybe
Yes.
you never had a great relationship with your own brother or or your own parent, and it makes it hard for you to understand
Right. Right.
why are they it was only their brother.
Right.
Why are they, suffering
Grieving.
and grieving for so long? So you might not understand that. And that's all part of, knowing on how to be with, treat, speak with a grieving person,
Yes.
because you don't know either, how powerful that relationship was. Maybe it was you who's, you know, I don't know the right word I'm looking for, who's dysfunctional in that you didn't have that deep of a relationship with that somebody in your life.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to call it dysfunctional. You're not going to have everybody who has all that emotion and depth and intimacy in relationships,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
maybe you aren't the person, which will make it hard for you to understand.
Right. Right. Right.
So we're not analyzing relationships and how they
No, we're
should or
not.
shouldn't be. We
No.
want you to know what a grieving person's feeling
Yes.
and
Yes.
how
And
you
one more
can make a
thing,
difference.
you may
Yeah.
come up with suggestions which you think would be wonderful and helpful and everything else, and they're not taking them, or they aren't listening, or they're not interested. Don't take that personally. Just, you know what? You made some suggestions. That's great. And that's it. You
Yeah,
send them out.
because when you're grieving like that, to the depth that we're talking about, you don't want to be given advice really on what to do,
Mhm.
how to act, how to feel. Don't tell me. You don't know. You're not in
Yeah.
my shoes.
Right.
Just let me be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So know that mindset of where they're coming from, that nothing matters. Not even you. If you turned around and walked out of the room, it's okay. Bye.
Yeah. I call it, you can't see the forest from the trees. That's what I call it. Yeah.
Very good analogy.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
hope this helped a little.
Yeah. I want to refer to a few things. The first thing I want to refer to is, of course, last week's Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is love with many faces. So that's one thing that I want to point out today. And then I also want to point out our March 1st workshop. We are doing a workshop called the End of Life Journey and Beyond. And we're going to be talking about end of life issues and bereavement issues. A lot of just different advice and information and discussion. And
Education. Yeah.
yeah, so we'll continue to post it and make sure that everybody is aware of it, because it is something that's really valuable and not really discussed with people, with people. So,
Right. Right.
and in our
Great.
spare time, Susan, what do we do?
Some online courses at eastend.academy, end of life topics. And we've done a few in there. So take a look at that. And our websites are, did we post our websites up here? Yeah,
You did.
eastendulacare.com.
I need to post mine. I didn't post my
Yeah, you need
website
to
on there.
post here because
Yeah.
Lisa does offer, one-on-one consulting, bereavement consulting, and you can reach out to her anytime, and I specialize in legacy work. So whether you have a terminal diagnosis or you're a healthy and vibrant person, we all have experience and memories that we want to leave to future generations. And it's our responsibility as we speak here. We're the ancestors today, of tomorrow. Sorry,
Yes.
we're the
Yes.
ancestors of tomorrow, and we all have a responsibility to help and educate them and validate their existence in the world and give them roots.
Yes.
Give
Yes.
them roots. Show them that we're thinking of them, even though that they're not here yet. But they will be one day if you have children, right? And
Yes.
your children
Yes.
have children.
Sure.
Sometimes that cycle gets broken somewhere, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's the
that's
gift of
important to leave those
remembrance.
stories.
The gift of remembrance. I think that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a whole on my website, eastendulacare.com. There's a whole page about leaving your story and your memories and the project that we work on together.
Nice. That's great work,
And
Susan. That's great work.
thank you, and you as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
So to
these
support
videos are
books,
great. Yeah, I love the videos. You know, it's just like a podcast we have going on here.
Yes, we
We
do.
offer free value and education just to help you get through your journey and timeline, no matter where you may be. And that includes being the friend that's or
Yes,
caretaker that's with somebody
yes,
through their journey. So thank
absolutely.
you very much for joining in today.
Yep.
Hit the like button and follow our
Subscribe.
page
Would
so
like
you
to
hear new
subscribe.
videos that come out. That's
Yep.
right. That's
Yep.
right. And thank you for joining us. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lisa. Happy
Thank you,
Valentine's Day.
Susan.
You
Always.
wore red.
I did. I have my little heart thing here.
Excellent. Excellent.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. Take good
Have
care.
a great day.
Okay. Bye.